Who's got two thumbs and is the new Quizzlemania champion? This guy. Sorry, Louie, you're probably too young to understand that reference. What's going on, WrestleTalk? I'm gonna take these off. This is very uncomfortable. What's going on, WrestleTalk friends and fans? This is the Quizzlemania fact checker and Quizzlemania champion Tempest coming at you with the latest edition of the WrestleTalk recap. For anyone tuning in for the first time, this is the show where I recap everything that's gone on in the last week in pro wrestling and on all of WrestleTalk's YouTube channels. Speaking of, this was a big week for WrestleTalk as Luke Owen recaptured the Jam That Championship.
He Sasha Banksed it. You Sasha Banksed it first.
Absolutely Banksed it.
Luke was, of course, able to pull out the win in the AEW Full Gear predictions. Now he will have to turn his attention to Ollie Davis and the Survivor Jams. Speaking of which, the Survivor Jams will pit Team Lukewarm against the All Authority in a 3-on-3 tag match. While Chopper Pete was the first man to join the All Authority, Mr. Davis had a little bit of trouble trying to fill that third spot. El Facador, of course, turning down the All Authority as well as Team Lukewarm.
This is a lot of pressure to be under, and I've got a lot on. And this is like too much. This is too many things now. Just piling it on with this constant bickering, and now there's teams, and now everyone has to be involved. You two, you're like children.
This left both teams to scramble to fill their remaining spots, but the All Authority had a nugget up their sleeve.
Who was the first person to message me after Quizzlemania? When I beat you, Luke, it was Mr. Davis. Who was the first person after you decided to make me as some sort of meme with the whole Get Rowdy thing? Who was the first person to message me and say, are you alright with this?
The six-piece nug combo himself, Louis Dangour, joins the All Authority, filling the last remaining spot on Team All Authority. Who will Luke Owen recruit to join Team Lukewarm? We'll have to wait and see. There's only a week left. And also this week we had Quizzlemania 22. The lead up to Quizzlemania 22 saw each of the contestants, myself included, post promo videos hyping themselves up and tearing down their opponents. My chest still kind of stings, not gonna lie. But it was worth it, as the leader of Team Tempest was able to come out on top, becoming the Quizzlemania champion for the first time. It's about time. Of course, the match of the week this week is going to go to the Young Bucks versus FTR from AEW's Full Gear pay-per-view. This is about as close to a home run match of the week as you're going to get on this show. Years ago, these two teams tweeted that they would face each other one day, and it has happened, and we are still rejoicing. At this point, if you say that the Young Bucks have no psychology, you're either lying to yourself or you haven't seen this match. I'm sorry, those are the only two options. This was a spectacular match with unbelievable storytelling from both teams. From Matt Jackson hurting his legs so he can't do flips, and Dax Harwood hurting his hands so he can't use fists. This match was a masterpiece of storytelling. If you have not seen this pay-per-view, order it just to see this match. It is absolutely worth it. The show of the week is AEW Full Gear. I know I just said that ordering this pay-per-view just to see the tag match would be worth it, but really, this show was stacked from top to bottom. You also had Kenny Omega defeating Hangman Page to become the #1 contender for the AEW World Championship in an excellent opening match. Also on the show, you had Darby Allin finally defeating Cody Rhodes to become the TNT champion in another fantastic match. And in the main event, you had Jon Moxley retaining the AEW World Championship over Eddie Kingston in an I Quit match. I didn't think Eddie Kingston would ever say I quit, but this match, I get it, man. I get it. I would have quit too. Moving on to this week's news, Zelina Vega fired by WWE. With deep frustration boiling over on both sides, Zelina Vega tweeted out that she supported unionization 10 minutes prior to her release. This is looking like a very ugly situation, so we will bring you any updates we get as soon as they become available. Also this week, AEW announced their series of video games. In addition to 2 mobile games, AEW Elite General Manager and AEW Casino Double or Nothing, they also announced their official console game. They will be partnering with Yuke's as well as the director of WWF No Mercy, one of the most acclaimed wrestling video games of all time. Also in AEW, after appearing in a promo segment last week, Pac finally made his return to AEW Dynamite in-ring this week. Following the main event between Pentagon and Rey Fenix, which got a little out of hand, Eddie Kingston tried to break up the Lucha Brothers, only for Pac to make his return and interfere. Moving over to this week's shows, we of course had AEW Full Gear. We've kind of gone into detail about it, but this show was absolutely phenomenal. In addition to the matches we've already mentioned, it also had Hikaru Shida defending the AEW Women's World Championship against Nyla Rose. It had the Elite Deletion, which featured cameos from Gangrel and Hurricane Helms, as Matt Hardy finally put his rivalry with Sammy Guevara to bed. And finally, it had MJF defeating Chris Jericho and joining the Inner Circle. Over on Monday Night Raw, you had more build to the Survivor Series pay-per-view with Matt Riddle filling out the last remaining spot on the Men's Raw Survivor Series team. And of course, the main event program saw more tension between Randy Orton, Drew McIntyre, The Miz. It's a whole thing. We'll see where it goes. Over on NXT, you had maybe the upset of the year as Leon Ruff defeating Johnny Gargano to become the NXT North American Champion. Johnny Gargano just cannot hold on to that belt, man. On the other channel, you had AEW Dynamite. In addition to the aforementioned return of Pac, this show featured the debut of Jade Cargill, who promised that Shaq will be making his way to All Elite Wrestling. I love Shaq. I really hope this is gonna be good. And finally, on SmackDown, you had Murphy's plan to turn on Seth Rollins and side with Rey Mysterio because he loves Aaliyah, and it didn't make any sense. And if you want to hear about it, listen to the SmackDown Review podcast with Pete and Andy, because I don't have the energy to go into detail about it here. Over on WrestleTalk.com, there were a number of features this week that you need to go out of your way to read. Sanchez Taylor penned another excellent list of the 10 amazing tag team matches from the last 10 years. With the final farewell just around the corner, I wrote another list of the 10 most must-see matches from the career of The Undertaker. And finally, our own Sonal Ladd wrote the list of the 5 Best of the Super Junior matches that you need to be looking forward to the most. Back over on YouTube, as we missed a day and now have 2 lists from Adam Blampied to catch up on. First, we had the list of the 10 best Survivor Series matches of all time.
As Vince would say, it's the Survivor Series. WWE's second longest running pay-per-view behind WrestleMania may have been created specifically to dick over the NWA Supercard Starrcade, but the show has endured for over 30 massive years in no small part to its signature match.
And then following that, we have the list of the 20 worst Survivor Series matches of all time.
Survivor Series is really old. You know what else is really old? Murder. Makes you think, doesn't it? Darn, I can't be asked to do the like and subscribe thing. Rich, just put up a blank screen. All right? Jam that jam.
Oh God. I think that one broke him. Over on PartsFunKnown, this week we had Quizzlemania 22. I've already gone into great detail about why you should be watching this episode of Quizzlemania.
Ayy.
But this show is really fun with a great cast. You should go out of your way to see it.
And new Quizzlemania champion, Team Tempest, with 81 massive points.
Also this week on PartsFunKnown, you have the return of the Explained series as Lori Blake breaks down blading in pro wrestling.
Red equals green. And no, that isn't just wrestlers getting their green cross code muddled up, though. That would go some way to explain the number of car accidents broadcast on national TV.
And right here on Wrestle2, you have another week's worth of Wrestling Daily with Alex McCarthy.
The boat has passed to make him the top guy now, and it's a shame because his pedigree is real. He can tie people in knots.
You have another edition of ScreenGrapple with housemate Simon.
See, even virtual Chris Jericho still choosing not to wear his mask properly.
And if you care to go and see it again, you get to see my training montage for Quizzlemania. And oh, my poor chest.
And now, for something completely different.
Over on Phenomenerds, you have Luke Owen's breakdown of Is Chess Actually Good?
I won, right?
You won.
I did win! I won! Yes!
You won.
Yahoo!
This is a video that made me want to go and start playing chess again, so It's pretty good. Additionally, you have Adam Blampier's list of 10 solo board games to add to your collection.
If lockdown has been extra cruel to you and has boiled your gaming group down to just you and your increasingly concerning collection of plushies, or if you're just one of those people who thinks that other people suck and hey, sure, then this is a collection starter, and this time we're looking at 10 great board games you can play solo.
I'm gonna go and buy probably 3 or 4 of these, so good stuff. And of course, coming up this week, you have Survivor Jams. You need to tune in to all of the podcasts this week to see who Luke Owen is going to add to his team in time for Sunday's show. And that just about wraps it up for me. Make sure you give this video a like, give it a share, give it a subscribe, and ring that bell to stay notified. Make sure you follow us on Instagram and Twitter. Our Instagram is @WrestleTalk.official. Our Twitter is @WrestleTalk_TV. You can follow me on Twitter @TempestWT. And I'm the Quizzlemania champion, baby. Hey.